All right. I'm sorry, guys. You see how the devil is always busy. I had to use the restroom, but we're not going to let the enemy throw us off. So let's get back to Genesis. Um, we left off at chapter 20. I mean, chapter 1. Chapter 1. Genesis 1. And we left off at 20. And God said, let the water teem with living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the vault of the sky. So God created the great creatures of the sea and every living thing with which the water teems and that moves about in it, according to their kinds, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. 22. God blessed them and said, be fruitful and increase in number, and fill the water in the seas, and let the birds increase on the earth. And there was evening, and there was morning, the fifth day. And God said, let the land produce living creatures according to their kind. The creatures that move along the ground, and wild animals, each according to its kind. And it was so. God made the wild animals according to their kinds, the livestock according to their kinds, and all the creatures that move along the ground according to their kind. And God is good. Then God, in his own image, in the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created. God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful and increase in number. Fill the earth and subdue it. Rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, and over every living creature, seed bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it, they will be yours for food. And to all the beasts of the earth, and all the birds in the sky, and all the creatures that move along the ground, everything that has the breath of life in it, I give you every green plant for food. And it was so. God saw that he had made, and it was very good. And there was evening, and there was morning, and this is the sixth day. Thus the heavens thus chapter 2. Thus the heavens and the earth were completed in all their vast array. But the seventh day, God had finished the work he had been doing. So on the seventh day, he rested from all his work. Then God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, because on it he rested from all the work of creating that he had done. Okay, let's stop there. Let's go back. Let's go back to chapter 1, and let's reiterate what he did. On the first day, now this is the beginning. God is just an abyss. Like we see the universe, when we see pictures, it's black, it's nothing. So mind you, he didn't even create Earth as of yet. Okay, so this is God standing in the abyss, which he is. He is the universe. Okay, so he's standing and he just decided, I'm going to create a heaven and an earth. Well, he already is heaven. He is heaven. But he decided, I'm going to create earth. But in the beginning, chapter 1, it says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And as we go along in the word, we'll see that the heavens was already created. There were angels. There were God Almighty himself. And the angels, they was up there already worshiping, glorifying God. But God decided, for whatever reason, and I guess I'll learn, he'll explain to me. The more I do Bible class, he will explain to me, or Bible study, that he will explain to me more. But in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And he said that there was no form. It was just the abyss. He just stood. There was nothing. And he said he formed, he created the earth. The earth was formless and empty. And we say that's the universe. We say that's the abyss. There was no form. And he said, now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. Now, I'm curious to find out, what waters is he talking about? If there's no form, it's just like the universe, just the abyss. What waters was he hovering over? Because it said the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. So I guess it was just heavenly waters. And he saw that the light was good. He was like, hey. But I know later on, as I read my word, he is the light. So he is the light in the darkness. So I have a question about that. Why did he throw light on earth? Because now he formed earth, if he is light. Okay, so that's another question. Waters was God hovering over in verse 1? That's one question. Let's write that down. I'm going to write that down. That's one question I have. What waters was God hovering over in verse 1? Okay. Now, the second verse, he said he made light. He said, let there be light. And there was light. God saw that the light was good, and he separated the light from the darkness. Okay, my second question, and maybe somebody will be able, God to give it to me insight. This is why I'm asking for wisdom in all things as I do this Bible study with my friends. These are just basic questions that I'm just trying to get a better understanding of the word. And this is where it starts, Genesis. So my second question is, if God is light, why did he say, let there, he's sending, he is the universe. He is the universe. He is the light. So when he say, let there be light, and there was light, and it was good, he is light. So that's just a second question. Okay. Okay, so now he formed light, and he separated the light. This is verse 3. He separated the light from the dark, and God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. Okay, now man didn't create this. Man didn't say day and night. God said the light would be the day and the darkness will be the night. So I'm curious, why didn't he just let it be daytime? So I'm curious. I hear in one of these countries, and I'm not sure, I'm going to Google it, but one of these countries is daytime for 6 months, and then it's nighttime for 6 months. So God did that. So why that country has day for 6 months and night for 6 months? Why did he do that country like that? I'm not sure which country it is, but I'm going to look it up and I'm going to get back to you guys. Okay? So, I'm sorry. This chair is so low and I was getting a cramp. Let me stand up. Let me sit right here. Can you guys see me? Okay. I'm going to keep looking down because I'm reading my word. So, I'm going to get a higher chair. Sorry, guys. I'm going to get a higher chair. Okay. Now, here we are. He separated. So, he called the light day and the dark night. And this is the first day. Okay. Remember, this is the first day. He separated day from night, light from dark. This day number 1. Okay. So write that down. On day number 1, because the reason why I'm want to start with Genesis is because this is where God started everything. And Genesis is such an inspirational book that I feel like it's going to open up doors later on for more knowledge, more understanding. But you have to have a beginning. And Genesis, which means beginning, is the truth. Is exactly God is introduced to us layman people who don't know who God is. Genesis is going to introduce God to you. So I'm just starting from the beginning. And this is the first day. Okay, so the first day he separated the day from the night, the light from the dark. That's day number 1. So if you want to remember that, day number 1, light, dark. Day 1, light and darkness. The light was day. And the dark was night. Okay. Okay. So we have that. Now that's chapter 1. We still in chapter 1. And that was verse 3 to 5. Then he starts in verse 6. Let there be a vault between the waters. The King James Version says, I'm sorry, guys. The King James, a vault is a line. I'm going to get the King James Version because the King James Version speaks about, it may be a better, I don't like the word vault. I'm sorry, Lord. I'm not, changing your words. But vault, when you think of a vault, you think of where you might store a safe deposit box, that type of vault. So I'm going to use the King James Version. And the King James Version has a separate word. Let's see. Let's see what the King James Version says. I'm sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. I'm going to get the King James Version. Okay. I don't have it handy. It's downstairs, and I don't want to stop the launch. I don't want that to be, the focus. The focus is what we are learning. Okay, so for the sake that we read in the NIV, I'm going to keep it to vault. So the vault, and God said, verse 6, let there be a vault between the waters to separate water from water. Okay, so remember, in the beginning, in verse 2, he said to separate water from water. So I'm still going to ask the question, which was my first question, was what waters was God hovering over? So this takes me back to, he started separating the waters. So God made the vault and he separated the waters. In verse 7, he says the water, he wanted water under the vault and above the vault. So I guess the vault was more like, if you're in the universe, as we see now, there's planets. But the water, like, it's nothing but water. The whole planet is water. Well, the universe was all water, I guess. And he wanted to separate, and that's why we see planets. So planet Earth is now separate from the universe. He made a whole planet, and I don't know if it's flat, I don't know if it's round, but I know he separated the waters. And this is in verse 6 and 7. So he made the vault and he separated the waters under the vault from above the vault. And it was so. And God called the vault sky. Oh, okay. So the vault is the sky. So I guess it was nothing. It was just now a bright light and water. And he wanted to make the planet Earth. So he first put the light, and now he put in waters. The earth is only light and waters right now, and sky. So now we have the sky, which is above, and the waters, which is the earth itself. Okay, so and God called the vault sky, and there was evening, and there was morning, and that was the second day. So write that down. Day 2, on day 2, God made a vault, which he called the sky. God made a vault with, so that's where we get it from. God said the vault will be called the sky. And now he's calling day and night, morning and evening. Mind you, first verse, the first day, it was the vault, the waters. He separated the waters. He separated the waters. I'm writing this down too. He separated the waters. And now he's calling it morning and evening. Day and night, the first day. On the second day, he's calling it morning and evening. And now we have the sky. So now we have the waters under the vault, which is the sky, waters over the vault, that's the heavenly realms. But we dealing with where we at. We on earth now, and it's no longer day and night. Well, night, but in the second verse, now he given day and night a name, and he's calling them morning and evening. Now that's day 2. Okay. That's in the 6th and 7th verse and the 8th verse, from 6 to 8. This is the morning and the evening, and that's the second day. Now, which is the earth, be gathered in one place, and let the dry ground appear. Okay. Now, everything was water. Everything was water. Everything was water. He separated the waters. But there was no dry ground yet. Everything was nothing. It was the sky and water, which I can't imagine what that looks like. Just the sky and water. But he said, there's no dry place. And okay, he said, let the water under the sky, verse 9, let the water under the sky be gathered in one place, and let dry ground appear. Okay, everything is water, and now he figuring in all his gloriness, I'm going to make dry land. Okay. See, God he knew what he wanted to do already. So, okay, let me not run my mouth. Let's just go with the word. So he said, let dry ground appear. And it was so. Verse 10, God called the dry ground land, and he gathered the waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good. Okay, so now this is the third day. This is the third day. The beginning, he made dry land. Let's write that down. The third day, he made dry land. Okay. He made dry ground. I'm sorry. He made dry ground appear. Land. So man didn't make these names up. God himself made these names. He called the dry ground land. This is the third day now. He gathered all of the water. He separated the dry ground, which is land, and he gathered the waters in one place, and he called it seas. And I wonder why he called it seas. I guess because you can see it. Let's just assume that's where he gets seas, seas, from seeing. You can see, see. I'm just going to put that out there. Could be true, could be false. I'm just going to say. I guess that's why he called it seas, because you could see it with your eye, see. And he called it seas, seas. Okay. I'm sorry. This is verse 10. God called the dry ground land, and he gathered the waters he called seas, and God saw it was good. So God is sitting right there. He be like, "That's seas. Okay, this is starting to look good." Now he formed this, and you know when we making stuff, when we creating things, it start coming together. We be like, "Hey, I see it. I see it." So I'm thinking this is how God, because that's how he chilling. He's not so uptight. So that's how I picture him. Like, hey, okay, that's good. That's good. Okay. So God saw that it was good. Verse 11, he said, let the land produce vegetation. Now, we all know what vegetation is. Vegetable, the land. Now, he's saying, and can be vegetation. Seed bearing plants. Now he's making everything. This is the vegetation. Seed bearing plants. This is all vegetation. And trees on the land that bear fruit with seed in it. So now he got plants and he got trees. And they all bear fruit so they can replicate themselves. So he didn't have to make a bunch. He could have put his finger and said, okay, I want a tree there. I want plants there. I want trees there. He said no. He said he made the vegetation, which is the plants and the trees that have their own fruit, their own seeds, so they could bear their own fruit. They can multiply on their own. He didn't have to do it repeatedly. He did it one time, and now he said they can bear their own. They can bear their own. with seed in it, according to their various kinds. So he made various kinds. Now, I'm learning. I'm asking God to help me in the area of eating fruit and vegetables. I'm having a little difficulties, but as my walk is growing, I'm learning I gotta eat more fruit, lay off the candy, lay off the sweets. I'm trying, guys. Just bear with me. I think as I'm studying more and learning to walk with God more, He's teaching me, Shanice, down. Put that candy bar down. This is all the third day, so let me not get distracted. Then he says, seed-bearing plants and trees on the land that bear fruit with seed in it, according to their various kinds. And it was so. And the land produced vegetation, plants bearing seed according to their kind, and trees bearing fruit with seed in it according to their kinds. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening and there was morning, and this is the third day. So we know on the third day, he made dry ground, he called it land, and he made vegetation, which is plants and trees with seed in them, with seed in them. According to their various kind. And fruit. Oh, plants bearing seed according to their kinds, and trees bearing fruit with seed in it according to their kind. And God saw that was good. Okay. And this is the third day. And it was good. So he's like, hey, okay, it's coming together. We got light and dark, which is the morning and the evening. Now we got the waters. And now we have vegetation. So he's like, hey, it looks good. It looks good. So that's the third day. Now he said, let there be lights in the vault, which he did to separate the day from the night. And then he said, let them serve as signs to mark sacred times. Wow. And let them serve as signs to mark sacred times and days and years. Okay. Okay. And the sky to give light on the earth. And it was so. Verse 16 said, God made two great lights. Now he is light. So why did he make two great lights if he is light? Okay. God made two great lights, verse 16, the greater light to govern the day and the lesser light to govern the night. Okay. Okay. And he made stars, great lights. Let's write that down. On the fourth day, day 4, he made, that's what verse 14 says. He made verse 16, I'm sorry. Verse 16 said, God made, let's write that down. On day 4, he made two great lights. And the greater light, I guess the brighter light, he says the greater light to govern the day, greater light governs the night. And he made stars. He made stars. And the stars, the verse says, In verse 17, he said, God set them in the vault of the sky to give light on earth. Let's go back to 16. God made two great lights, the greater light to govern the day and the lesser light to govern the night. He also made the stars. Verse 17 said, God set them in the vault of the sky to give light on the earth, to govern the day and the night, to separate light from darkness. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, and this is the fourth day. So now we have the stars. He given direction, greater light, which is the greater light. Living creatures. Okay? Other. Remember, team, unify, unity. He's teaming the water with living creatures across the vault of the sky. So God created the great creatures of the sea. Remember, he put in creatures in the sea, and every living thing with which the water teems, T-E-E-M-S. Okay, man, we took the word team, like we say T-E-A-M, but God spelt it T-E-E-M, team. He let the water teem with the great sea, and every living thing with which the water teems that moves about in it according to their kinds, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw it was good, and God blessed them and said, be fruitful and increase in number, and fill the water in the seas, and let the birds increase on the earth. And there was evening, and there was morning, and the fifth day. Oh, wait. I'm sorry, guys. Now, the living creatures, he didn't consider those living creatures according to their kinds. 6. Living creatures are now make mankind in our image. The question I have is, what was he saying when he said, let us make mankind in our image? That's the third question. It wasn't even made yet. And as we read on in Genesis, in verse 1, we don't even know. We only in verse 1, and he said them, man, Adam. But he already blessing them. 28, he said God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful and increase in number. Fill the earth and subdue it. Rule over the fish in the sea, the birds in the sky, and over every living creature that moves on the ground. Then verse 29, then God said, the whole earth and every tree that has fruit with seed in it, they will be yours for food. And all the birds in the sky and all the creatures that move along the ground, everything that has breath in it, I give every green plant for food. And it was so. God saw that he had made, and it was very good. And there was evening, and there was morning, and this is the sixth day. So he made mankind. You have ruled over man. Mind you, the earth. I don't know how many years. Remember, I'm not a Bible scholar. Just studying. I'm just throwing questions out there. So God saw all that he had made, and it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, and this is the sixth day. There's rules. Not really rules, but commands, I guess. Not in charge. He says, I give you every green plant for food, and it was so, and it was good. work he had been doing, say, and made it holy, because on it he rested from all the work of creating that he had done. Now, when I grew up, I was saved, baptized, and filled with the Holy Ghost at the age of 8. 8. Apostle at past 49, I believe in Pentecost. I am apostolic Pentecostal Christian. And back in the days, people there was no work. You didn't do laundry. You didn't go to work. And we would be there until 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, depending on what was scheduled for that day. And you didn't think about, oh, I gotta do laundry. Oh, I gotta go somewhere. Oh, I gotta go shopping. That day we rested. We used that day to serve God, to give God day. Sunday is supposed to be the start of the new week. I remember back in the days, they used to say Sunday, when we worship God on Sunday, the beginning, the Genesis. So that we hear how Adam asked for a helpmate, somebody to help him and be with him. But chapter 1, God already knew Adam was going to ask. So he already said, I'm making male and female. Mankind, the creatures, the birds, the waters, it probably looked like heaven the first days. Good. Let's say a prayer and I'm going to end the stream. I'm saying class. This is not a class, people. This is study. I might know what happens in other books, but for the purpose of this Bible study, I'm studying with you. I got questions like you. So we're going to end Bible study, not class, Bible study. We're learning. 7 days, everything was good. I feel good in my spirit. I hope this was a blessing to you on today. We're going to end with a prayer. We thank you for your understanding. Our mind, you're going to give us the wisdom and the knowledge to see what it is that you need. You created us, male and female. You created us to have rule over everything that has breath in this world. So, Father, I ask that you continue to be with each and every one of us as we go out here that you created. Give us candies to help me eat the vegetation that you put on this earth, because you said it